What's happening, guys? It's Boxing Lowdown and I'm back here with another video. Now, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Feel free to drop a comment if you like and I'll happily get back to you. Now, this fight was announced a few weeks ago, maybe even a month ago. Errol Spence and Danny Garcia, we all knew that it was happening or it was scheduled to happen in January. But obviously the significant car crash that Errol Spence suffered, man, it was, life-threatening car crash. When that news came out, I thought that Errol Spence might not make it. Like some of the reports that were circling around, man, it was a serious car accident. And, Errol Spence, took fault for, he was drinking behind the wheel. I think he received some sort of punishment for it. But yeah, anyway, it had an impact on, Errol Spence's career because the fight with Garcia in January was obviously pushed back. Then we had the pandemic. Now we've got the fight rescheduled for November. How much has that car accident taken out of Errol Spence, man? I mean, he was on a roll up until then. I mean, he's been he just defeated Shawn Porter in a very good fight, the unified welterweight champion, and had the world at his feet until that car accident. But now he's looking to rebuild himself. Obviously, he's still the champion, but how is he going to be in that fight against Danny Garcia? Because it's a tough test, man. Danny Garcia is no joke. I mean, he is a world-class fighter, former unified champion at light welterweight. He picked up a belt at welterweight as well, I believe. So yeah, Danny Garcia is no joke, man. I mean, I think this guy will pose some problems, and I thought he would pose some problems for Spence even before, the car accident. So I'm not going to go as far as to say I thought he'd win, but I thought that he'd definitely give him a good fight because he's underrated in my opinion, man. He's got a sturdy chin. He's very good fundamentally. Danny Garcia has a great left hook. He has a very good right hand. He has some great fighters on his resume that he's defeated. I mean, he's defeated the likes of Amir Khan. He's defeated the likes of Lamont Peterson. And this was when both of these guys were at light welterweight and a lot more closer to their primes than, especially Amir Khan anyway. Peterson's retired. But these guys were closer to their primes than they were, more recently. Danny Garcia defeated them both. He's defeated the likes of Eric Morales, Zab Judah. He's, defeated that tough Argentinian guy. I forgot his name now. It's not coming to my head. But you guys know who I'm talking about. He's got some good wins on his resume, Danny Garcia, man. And he doesn't shy away from the top competition. I know he has this reputation as a cherry picker. And yes, he has taken on some soft touches in his time. But he's also taken on some solid contenders and champions, man. Even the defeats that he's got, they were both close. Keith Thurman, I thought that he was a close fight against Keith Thurman, and Shawn Porter, I think he did enough to win that, in my opinion. I mean, it went to Shawn Porter, and I won't argue that, but I thought that Danny Garcia did quite well in that fight, and well enough to get the decision anyway. It was a close fight. So, listen, he's no joke. He's big for the weight. He can punch. He's got a good chin, and he's got the experience behind him as well. He's not going to go into this fight with Errol Spence fearing the man or anything like that. I mean, he was calling for the fight. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this all plays out because we haven't seen Errol Spence take a solid punch to the head since that car accident. Obviously, he has taken some blows during sparring, and I'm not going to, underestimate his team. They're obviously with Errol Spence every day. If they feel that they're in the right frame of mind and position to take on a tough test like Danny Garcia in this first fight back, then I think he should be applauded for it. I mean, the team know how Errol Spence work better than any of us do. So for them to take on this tough challenge is, it's very good for ourselves to watch, for the welterweight division. And it also sets up, the possibility of the fight that we've all been waiting for, really. And that's Terence Crawford against Errol Spence. Hopefully that takes place next year. We can't forget about Manny Pacquiao. He's still in the mix, unbelievably, at 41 years old. He holds a title in welterweight as well. But the main two, the two who, in everyone's opinion, are the top two are Errol Spence and Terence Crawford. And I think that these two definitely need to get it on, hopefully next year. I mean, I shared a video of them two confronting each other. And that was like, when was it? It was like over nearly 2 years ago now, to be fair, when it happened. And everybody was just so excited for it. Everybody was like, when are these two going to meet? Two young, hungry lions, both undefeated, both in the pound for pound list, both in the top 5, top 10 maybe. Everyone was excited about it. But obviously, we've seen, some circumstances happen along the way. Neither of these fighters have taken an L yet. But, as we've seen in the past with other fights that have been, projected and people have wanted to see, fighters take L's, man. And in a welterweight division where there's a lot of top quality fighters there, a lot of top quality up and coming prospects as well, you know, anything could happen. So I feel like we need to strike while the iron's hot. Both of these men are in their 30s, but they've both got tests to go through. I mean, Terence Crawford is looking like he's going to fight in November as well, probably against Brook, the way how it's going. So that would be Garcia against Spence and Brook against Crawford. Two good fights to kind of set themselves in line for a fight in 2021. And maybe I'm being optimistic. We know that Terence Crawford is with Bob Arum and Top Rank, and Errol Spence is with the PBC. We have seen that, you know, these two can work together, but I don't know how close we are to seeing that fight. I think that we do need to see Terence Crawford in there with some of the PBC fighters, in my opinion. Errol Spence, I mean, we need to see how he looks against Danny Garcia before we could judge him against somebody like Terence Crawford. So yeah, it's all to play for in November. I'm looking forward to seeing how it all pans out. And I think that we're getting restless. I certainly am anyway, in terms of, you know, having Errol Spence and Terence Crawford fight each other. I think that these two need to get it on, and they've got some tough tests to get through first of all before we can see that happen. So I'm just hoping that, you know, there's not no L's taken along the way. And if there are, then that's just boxing at the end of the day. Danny Garcia is capable of springing the upset, and who knows what Brook can do. If he's in good form, then maybe he'll be able to push Crawford as well. I mean, that'd be a lot tougher for him. But let's just see how it pans out, man. I want to hear you guys' opinions on it anyway, man. What's your thoughts on Danny Garcia against Errol Spence in November? Do you think that it was a good idea for Team Spence to take on this fight right now? Or do you think that maybe he should have just had a tune-up just to see how, you know, he works in a professional setting compared to taking on one of the top contenders? Or do you think that it's the right move? You know, it kind of keeps him on that same level of fighting top quality fighters, and it won't allow his performance to dip. You know, it kind of worked both ways. So I want to hear you guys' opinion on it. Drop them thoughts in the comment section below, guys, and feel free to like and share the video. Don't forget to subscribe on the way out, and I'll catch you all on the next video.